Hey everybody, I'm back with some Hunter x Hunter, and it's gonna be Prince themed. And I received a comment about wanting to go into the like who would win this war, the strategy and whatever. And before I continue, I'm just gonna go grab my coffee, and I'll be right back. Oh, that's good. Wonderful. Okay. All right. I got my coffee, and so so as we continue here, please leave comments, start a dialogue. Uh, Let me know what you guys are thinking about this arc. But this is just going to open a floor, and I'm not like streaming right now. I'm not going to be here for too long. But I hope that this opens a dialogue forum, and people can post their ideas about the art. This is what whenever I post something, I want an open floor for everybody to say things and get their ideas out. It's really an open channel. I'm not really into the whole interactive thing. Like, I'm not streaming to make money or anything. I am literally just opening a dialogue and discussion to see, and I'm always interested to see what people think. So I had received a comment to kind of go more into the participants of the Succession War, and I've talked about this years ago. I've talked about it several times, but with the chapters coming out probably in 1 to 2 months' time, in that ballpark, it's what the volume is coming out in November for the last chapters. So people are saying that the new chapters should be coming out relatively around a similar time on a weekly basis. Um, so I wanted to just, I guess, like revisit the characters and where they are. And goodness gracious, I'm gonna go through this with just what I know, no notes or anything like that, and phrase it from the characters and the ones that I think matter. I'm sorry, some of the princes are just dog food at this point. Tyson is my number one. Like, I think she's gonzo beans in the next set of chapters. I think she's next. I would almost be a betting person. I have a couple names I'm not mentioning on here. Lucerys, Tubeppa, and even our girl Fugetsu. Even though Fugetsu is like, there's a lot like narratively tied to her now. Like, you lost a sister, and the guardian beast is now protecting you as the sister. There's a lot of plot relevance in my mind to that. And Kacho's death was one of the most impactful parts of the last batch of chapters. So I think Fugetsu's gonna last a while and outlive a lot of the bloodshed. I just don't know if she's going to really like. I don't think she'd win the war, but perhaps she's going to just literally get the hell out of here. There might be a way for them to like undo the conditions of this ceremony without everybody dying. And I think that's ultimately what may occur. I don't know if every prince is dying. Similar to the Ant arc, like, the ants kind of did their own thing. And I just... Togashi loves individualism. And if you notice, he used the Ant arc to contrast individuality with imperial, like, doctrine, like dictatorship, sort of, mindless following for the greater good, and he pitted those two ideas. But individuality really won the day in that arc, because the human side and the human desires and motivations overpowered the ant desires and motivations, and that's why Poof lost, and that's why Komugi beat Poof. Like, it was actually Komugi versus Poof. That was the actual fight for Poof and his character. People might not see that initially. Like, that's actually the fight. It's a very interesting, complicated, because it's really just like an assassination. Poof wants to get rid of this human, but the human is so tied to the needs of Meruem and is being healed by Pito, and that dynamic means that that human is just protected by plot. It's like there's a plot wall. Poof is basically fighting the plot, the whole arc, and it's pretty entertaining. If you really watch Poof again, like he's literally fighting Togashi's desire to have humanity beat the ants. Like the most raw version of that battle. It's so cool. I'm getting off track here because this is what happens when I talk about this series. But the participants I have here, I feel have more screen time relevance. Okay? Luzerus isn't on here either. Even though Luzerus has ties to the mob, I don't think he's going to make it to the end. I think Luzerus might be dragged in to one of the mob conflicts as he works with the Char family. It's interesting because, and that's the whole thing with the spider. So, maybe the spider actually somehow get to Luzerus. Like Luzerus could be the door to the first floor. The way if the spider do end up getting there, it's like I feel like Luzerus could be the victim. So again, I think Luzerus is hanging out. I'm not gonna say he's next to go. I think Tyson is definitely next to go, unless Togashi wants to throw a curveball, which he does do. They could get rid of Tubeppa first. But the characters I have here, I'm just gonna talk about these characters, and we're going to start at home base here with, the protagonist camp, which is Wobble and Karapika. I love this picture. Wobble, youngest prince, she is, of course, the most vulnerable in this whole thing. However, when you say that you have Karapika on your side, are you still the most vulnerable participant? It's actually the same thing here. I'm going to start with these two because, and there's no good picture of Miriam, like on Google. I can't find any decent, what's up with this? Like, I guess Miriam's hiding out in his dimension and no one can find him. But Miriam has Biscuit and Hanzo. Are we about to sit here and say that Miriam's toast? Like, if two camps are going to fight to the end and preserve each other, it's these two. What people might not quite see yet is that these two camps actually have the most mutual, gain working together. And so if Biscuit and Karapika eventually team up somehow, or because these princes have no real free will of their own, Miriam's too young to make decisions. And so this, to me, is actually like a two-pronged alliance waiting to happen. Now, is Miriam dying? Could Biscuit be compromised? Ask the question. Ask the question. If Biscuit killed Camilla, that ain't good. Would Biscuit kill Camilla? I think she's too smart for that shit. I think she knows that there's treachery on board this boat. Because here's the thing, when I always have the master character, and this is a trope across all fiction, you always expect that the master is going to die. Or at least the master is no longer going to be relevant. They'll pass on their teaching. Either they get killed off, they get written off, or they get greatly surpassed by their student. And we already know that Adult Gon greatly surpassed Biscuit, so we know that their potentials were way beyond Biscuit's potential. But thematically, Biscuit is still super relevant to this character and protecting this young little boy. I just, there's no way in my mind that Biscuit's going to be taken out. Distracted or sidelined, maybe. But not taken out. I would be floored if Sereidnik, Camilla, somehow Hulkenberg offed Biscuit. Could you imagine the fan reaction if we lost Biscuit in this arc? I don't know, man. I might get emotional. Weregay's not going to let it happen, though. I think Weregay's going to save the day. So I don't see this happening. I don't see this character dying yet, and I see a alliance, cooperation between these two. Now, when Karapika's Nen lessons evolve, and they, Silent Majority, I think Silent Majority might be the way that you kill Miriam. I know you'd say Wool, of course, right? But something of a silent, like, how are you getting by Biscuit? Silent Majority. Miriam doesn't have a lot of blood in his body. I think 4 seconds might turn into 3. Or no, excuse me. Each snake takes 4 seconds to kill. It takes 16 seconds to kill the target completely, I believe. I'll have to go redo the math on that. But it sucks up all of your blood in 16 seconds. It's like Biscuit. It's like Blinky, right? But these things can, they just attack you and suck the blood. You don't have to cut open a wound or anything. And they will kill you in 16 seconds. And when you're being, absorbed, when they're drinking your blood, you're losing blood so quickly that once it bites you and starts draining you, you're helpless. You're going numb in seconds. The blood that you lose in 16 seconds, you're dead. So it's interesting, right? But yeah, we have to see where the Nen lessons go, and also the plot lines to Saridnik, and Saridnik targeting Wobble. I think this is what you got to look at is how does Saridnik target Wobble because of Karapika's threat to him? When they cross paths, of course, Saridnik can't technically attack Wobble, but it could be that the way you compromise Saridnik, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, is he does try to somehow get an attack off on Wobble. Excuse me, sorry, that's a stupid note that I don't care about. Get rid of that. Saridnik attacking, well, not Saridnik, perhaps it's Theta who becomes a monstrosity for Saridnik, attacks Wobble, and Wobble's Nen Beast activates and compromises Saridnik somehow. And that would give Karapika an opening, and it would also mean that Wobble gets a chance to shine and protect Karapika and give Karapika the moment, the opportunity to get back at Saridnik. Because once Saridnik masters his abilities, once this creep, this diabolical menace, masters his Zetsu control and his overall Nen control, which is, we are days away from him being a Nen master at this point. That's the part that I'm, holy shit, man. I had a crazy theory a long time ago that he might be a future version of himself, or a future version of himself may exist, and the Nen might be already there from that experience. He's absurd. So how he actually does master his Nen, I don't know if Karapika can 1v1 primes, ready to go Saridnik with his Nen Beast. I don't think he can. I know Karapika fans are throwing their fucking, what do you mean? He's a main character, he's a Zodiac. The Ant Arc did this exactly, and Togashi wrote this exactly, that even characters like Netero were completely outclassed by Meruem and probably couldn't beat the guard, honestly, because of their durability and raw essence being way too fucking high. Even at birth, these characters come out like gods. Same idea here. You have a novice prodigy of 1 in a billion who is learning Nen so rapidly that even an experienced, Karapika took shortcuts. Karapika's a prodigy in his own right and found out ways to get powerful, but Change Ale cannot be used against Saridnik. And that is why That is why. I don't think he can just walk up to Saraynik and say, hey, mother effer, bam. I don't think he can do that with the Nen Beast involved. Now, if Woble's ability activates and Karapika learns about it and maybe it thwarts an assassination, Steel Chain becomes a play. If the Nen Beast's ability can be absorbed, and this is one thing we don't quite know yet, is if a Nen Beast, we know a Nen Beast can be consumed. And so to me, it's not too far-fetched to say that a Nen Beast can be borrowed. And Karapika can become the JoJo's character. We've all thought that Karapika might use Steel Chain on the Nen Beast of Wobble and become a JoJo's stand user. And a Nen Beast in a non-prince's body would probably no longer have the limitations imposed on the ceremony. And can that Nen Beast then attack other princes? Or would the conditions still remain? It's just that Karapika is now the protected host instead of Wobble. Either way, we still need to know what the ability of the Nen Beast is. And that could open up many, many doors. We think it's something very dark. And it was alluded to in that shadow. And Karapika was like, what is that? It's possible that Wobble has the strongest Nen Beast of all. And that would work with Togashi style. The weakest character has the strongest Nen Beast. That sounds just like Togashi, right? Because if underdog characters have massive power, there's usually a drawback to it. And usually an element of darkness. And so Wobble, his Nen Beast might get stronger the more allies he loses. Or it might get stronger the fewer princes that are in the war. It could be feeding off of the life essence of the boat. It could be that if Wobble finds a guard, someone to protect him, the strength of that protector could influence the strength of the Nen Beast. There could be a bond. It could link up with the parental guardian of Wobble. So if Karapika takes on that mantle, and there is a link between the two essences, then Wobble's Nen Beast could be like a second Karapika in power with an additional ability. If I'm looking at the arc, this is almost impossible to do, but I'm just going to throw one out there. If we look at all of the other abilities, and I'm going to try and do this by category. Specialist Nen Beast, but it could be transmute. Did they say what his Nen Beast was? Manipulation or specialist? I think it's a specialist. It transforms people into monsters and lie. There's a lying thing. I think it said he's a specialist beast. I don't have this in front of me. Benjamin's Beast? Benjamin's Beast? Do we have a picture of it? Here it is. Emitter? Specialist? I mean, he's a specialist, but what we remember is the Nen Beasts have their own, they were indicated to have their own category. A lot of people have said this is an intel gathering Nen Beast. Or it can literally give orders to followers. It actually strengthens Ben's leadership position. Amplifies his authority. He acts literally, he's a mouthpiece of Benjamin. So Benjamin's rhetoric is more loyally followed. I could see this thing being a specialist. I forget if Togashi listed all of the actually, you know what? We're on the stream. Let's just look this up. Um, is this 2020? Okay. Okay. What? Strongest? What kind of article is this? This thing sucks, man. um, we knew this was manipulation. Okay. Probably the actual wiki could talk about this. To Beppa, the full powers are unknown. Transmuter. Right, of course it's transmuter. Hello. But like, to Beppa being a transmuter makes no sense herself, and I don't think she is a transmuter. I think she is either a conjurer or a manipulator, perhaps, but she seems more like a conjurer, right? Does she seem like she's really a whimsical liar? Maybe. She could be. And then Beast is very cautious, right? But this is also what's interesting. Like, if this is, like, it seems to be true, this is against the human qualities of the Nen, right? Cautious, but a transmuter? I guess Killua is also cautious, but he was being manipulated by a manipulator. And so it gets a little gray as to how, like, I do agree, this thing is biding its time, it's invisible, but it could be amped by the conjurer nature of the host. That's why it's very interesting, right? So, okay. Halkenberg. We know it's a type of manipulation. It's a very lean, gradual form of manipulation that more members makes it more influential. So, like, as long as you can gather followers, the manipulation gains its strength with more participants. But it's hard to notice that you're under an influence. So it has great utilization practice. Like, when you're growing your followers, the loyalty goes way up as long as you have the members. It's all about numbers with this guy, right? So we remember that. Losers, we know it's a conjurer, right? Because a conjurer is like something you desire. A trap. Okay. Does it say here? A conjure conjures a coin. So, from the types that we know, I'll go through it again. I'm just trying to, like, we know manipulator. Don't know exactly what the ability is. I love the design. It's really ugly and cool. It's like beautiful and ugly, which is exactly Camilla's character. I love Togashi, man. He gets the themes just right. Ugly and beautiful. This is Camilla to a T, right? Manipulation. Benjamin. He has no control over it. Its abilities and powers are yet to be revealed. This is why I think this thing is enhancing Benjamin's authority somehow. I think it, like the whole military effort, it, like, here's your commanding officer, and you think he's okay. Well, Benjamin, he's the greatest fucking guy in the world. And the Nen Beast, like, makes you do everything. It's a more extreme version of Halkenberg's, I think, where you need a group, right, to be loyal to Halkenberg. I feel like with Benjamin's, the individual becomes so amped up on service and serving the authority figure that they'll throw their life away for it. It's the ultimate inspirational Nen Beast to I feel like I think it targets the individual's desire to protect and serve the cause and the movement for Benjamin's ascension. Like, I feel like it's all tied to that. But it could be something else. To me, it's leaning towards like a manipulator style as well. I'm getting that feeling, but it could be an emitter. Maybe. We'll see. It could be a specialist as well. The fact that this thing just like shows up, tells who's lying, and transforms people who lie is very crazy. We don't know. I would say, I mean, for goodness sake, it's a specialist beast too. I Why not? Because make everything about this guy special, right? So I think this has to be a specialist beast. There's no way. The ugliest son of a gun you've ever seen. Like, dude, Togashi went all out with these Nen beasts, man. Oh my god, these things are going to be censored heavily in the. So going through this list, right? I'm guessing specialist. I'm guessing manipulator or specialist. Manipulator, conjurer, conjurer, manipulator, conjurer. Manipulator. Are you noticing something? Conjurer, right? They conjure the little things. Or it's a manipulator. I think it's a conjurer. What are we not noticing here? Raw combat style Nen Beast, right? Raw violence, raw mission. We're not like, we don't have at the moment a Nen Beast that fights. Kacho, Fugetsu's Nen Beast, has conjured or transmuted, it's very unclear, or specialized, a reincarnation of her dead sister. That will protect her. That is a combat style Nen Beast. It has to be, because it's protecting, it's guarding. That is a literal, that Kacho is going to be so powerful, it's amped up on postmortem Nen. This, I'm calling it. Kacho's Nen Beast. Kacho's Nen Beast. This thing. This is Kacho's, this thing is going to destroy whoever gets close to Fugetsu. It will. I'm calling it. It's going to act like freaking adult form biscuit. I'm calling it. So we have one confirmed Nen Beast that just fights, like has combat power. The rest all set up conditions or improve the power of those involved with its ability. The prince or the followers of the prince, whatever, they make a better advantage state for the prince in question. Wobbles, man, I don't know. The door to me feels open for this to be like a raw powerhouse Nen Beast. It may require sacrifice. It may require that Wobble is in danger for it to truly activate. Because again, like Kacho, it's going to protect Fugetsu as a guardian spirit. Or the stronger Wobble's bond is to his protector, the stronger the Nen Beast is. And the more that the guardian achieves or does, makes the Nen Beast stronger too. So there's a lot that can happen with this character's Nen Beast. And the door seems to be open that it's that kind of thing where it just gains a mass amount of power and can fight. Really fight. And it may, another theory that's going out there is it may amp up Karapika's abilities or remove conditions where Emperor Time no longer drains his lifespan, for example. Now he's always in Emperor Time, and that would that would just break Karapika into a different dimension of power, right? No more life drain. He can just be an emperor time forever. Well, now we got a problem, right? But let's get back to the meat and potatoes of this discussion. And, I'm probably going to wrap up in the next 10, 15 here. I think these two are lasting quite a while. And a bond, a partnership should be formed. Halkenberg, I think he's going to be like written out, removed from the main conflict, and then get his dues. And maybe take someone out with him, potentially even Nasubi. And that could like alter the state of the contest. It could even like change the rules of the contest. Maybe the Nen has if you somehow kill the former victor, it could like set off a humongous chain effect. We don't know. But there's a chance that he kills Nasubi. Maybe he takes him down with him, whatever the situation is. But I'm interested to see, his power is so crazy with his men, but he has to survive against, not good. Not good here. This is not a good scenario for him. And this thing could actually show its powers in the next batch of chapters, which would be fucking hype, because now he's all alone in the Justice Wing, and now here comes... Yeah. Now, Zhang Li. Why is Killua showing up here? I don't get it. I think this character is going to... I don't think he's winning. I think he might be used as tragic irony. I have the coins that could make everybody wonderful. The kingdom could be prosperous, and I'm dead. I could easily see this character just falling. Again, with his ties to the mob, it could set off a rage in Onyor, and maybe it like spurs a mass revolt from Onyor's group, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is... why would he make it through the arc? He was like with Karapika for a period, and his coin is interesting, and it's a currency system. It empowers individuals. It makes it adds different side quests for these guys in a way. Like, it's an interesting, plot device. I like it, but there's no way he's winning. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if this little dwarf won over. Come on, like, really? No. Interesting, and I think he's going to have a role to play, but I think he could be like a sacrificial lamb to Onyor. Unless they cash in their coins and this thing unlocks the sun. Shout out to Phaeton, but no, man, I don't think so. Okay. Now, let's see. Where's a good picture of our girl here? Like, the goddess. It might be clear, this is the camp that I am most hyped about. Frankly, outside of Saradnik, I'm a Camilla stan. I'm on record. This bitch, and I say that as a compliment. Look, couldn't have given two shits about this character when she was first introduced. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. The moment that she went up to Benjamin, that whole thing, I was like, what the hell's going on here? Now, yeah, she did get owned, and I mean that by Benjamin, had to go to trial. That didn't work. She got imprisoned. but her confidence was there because of her actual plan to unleash the curse. I'm telling you, man. First of all, Camilla brought us the lore of Kakin's past. Togashi put that on her plate, not Benjamin, not Saradnik. Camilla. Camilla taught us about Kakin's history. The lore is on this character. Why? Why is this character tied to the lore? She obviously mastered a death-style Nen ability. Like, she has been studying this shit, man. She studied the lesser children. She studied the burial practice. Her entire being is on this concept that we're all dead. We are cursed with death in the Kakin household. So I am going to master the power of death, and I am going to board this vessel with the ability to curse everybody's existence and take them all down and just spread death everywhere. Like, I gotta tell you, thematically, the darkness of this character, but her political savvy to manipulate the lesser beings into adopting and executing this curse. It's phenomenal. This is decades likely, well, not decades. I mean, what's she in her 30s? Maybe low 40s? No, 30s. She looks like she's in her 30s. Her actual age might have been revealed. She is years, let's just put years of planning. And it seems like planning that she did on her own by just like figuring out the history of this concept. And so she herself is technically immortal unless that beast gets exercised or counter to a counter. But the lore is with her. Like, now, could you imagine if her Nen Beast has an after death ability as well? Because she's so tied to death. We know it manipulates people, but what if it can manipulate the dead? And now you see why I'm getting excited for this character. Now you see why I am so hyped for Camilla. Like, you know, the moment she comes back, I'm popping off. Because I love when characters enter a conflict with hidden strategies, aces up their sleeve. Crollo fights like this. But the thing about Crollo is that it is designated to one target. He plans for victory against an opponent. It's all like, you don't bet against Crollo in a one-on-one fight. This plan, though, there's so much involved with it, and it's widespread chaos that could be the end result. If Togashi kills her off quickly, I'll be very surprised, a little bit disappointed, but I will say, I'm actually like, there's a part of me rooting for this character to at least get rid of some of the trash. One of the things I hope happens is that she curses Tyson. Her curse bringer hits Tyson. And then Tyson's all like, oh my God. And then like Tyson gets eaten by a ghost. Like whatever the hell that thing does. It would be so wonderful. And then like they're panicking and then she dies. Like the despair. This character has so much despair, as I've said I did an analysis several years ago about this, but this is the Grim Reaper. She's utilizing and manipulating death and cursing the living, and I fucking love every bit about it. So I'm rooting for her. I know she's not going to win, but the fact that her lore is tied, her ability is so focused on Kakin's traditions and history, I can't help but think, like, in death, she might, or her Nen Beast might do something ridiculous. So I'm very hyped for that. And now, of course, I mean, we talked a little bit, but yeah, we know about this monstrosity here. He will get defeated, but not before he does some fucking crazy shit. I have no doubt. He might take out Tubeppa, for example. He might cripple Halkenberg. Not kill. I don't think he's going to kill Halkenberg, but he might, like, cripple Halkenberg's forces. I could see him taking out Halkenberg's posse, wiping them out by himself. It's like something ridiculous, right? He might do that soon, actually. Just start tearing into Halkenberg's guards. And, like, the war's on. Like, the real war is on, right? Now, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? What do I have to say? Diavolo Requiem, all right? I think in a funny way, actually, this could be Togashi's version of King Crimson Requiem. If you think about it, right? The reason why it's so fascinating how this ability is going to work is because it's King Crimson, but the participants are living their normal life. They go through the normal motions, and then fate is immediately adjusted to what Saradnik did in his parallel universe. That is ungodly busted. Now, what people fail... So, again, the way he has to fight to do any significant damage, he has to undo Zetsu to control his Nen, right? So, to actually damage opponents, he has to reactivate his Nen and use some powerful attacks. That also reactivates his Nen Beast. Now, this happens it happens within not even a second. He's behind you. In his vision, he's preparing to kill you because the Nen users won't be killed by guns. He's going to have to use Nen to kill you. So he has to reactivate his Nen and kill you from behind. Which I was saying is that, like, when he's in his vision state, he's in Zetsu. He can alter outcomes of reality in his parallel version of himself because he's foreseen what happens in an instant 10-second future sight. So he's like navigating a parallel existence. He has a 10-second preconception of it, so he's able to navigate all the events. He undoes his Zetsu, he comes back. Your reality, things already happened the way they were supposed to. However, he immediately alters fate. And so he's going to be behind your ass. A fist through your damn stomach, and you're dead. Like this is how King Crimson got to Bucciarati, right? But there's a little more nuance to it. And so we have to see this ability grow is going to be crazy because to get to him is almost impossible. The Nen Beast is active. He goes into his parallel edition. He's untouchable. You're killing a dummy version of himself. This is it is a false... When the attacker is attacking Zetsu Saradnik, they are attacking a dummy version of him. His actual essence is in the parallel world in the future. That Nen then adjusts reality instantaneously when he returns to whatever he did in the parallel self. That's why you kill Saradnik. Oh, I got him. That wasn't him. That was a dummy of him. That's the him that you know, but he's changed what you know. He now is a different version. This ability is ungodly when you're talking about defense and perseverance. He will survive so many assassinations. And then the Nen Beast, meanwhile, could, in the meantime, create monstrosities that follow due to his loyalty. They must follow his orders, cannot lie. It's like, it sets him up to be, you have to like literally be a slave to him. It's a slave master complex that deteriorates your essence. I freaking love this idea. This is one of the most grotesque and incredible character concepts. It's his sexual fantasies, his violence, his need for power, his self admiration. It's all packaged. He kind of looks like Jesus. There's the way he did all this. Like, I love the idea. There's alien metaphors here because he's infecting you with his hatred and his twisted desires. It's phenomenal. The design here, the themes are phenomenal. So we all know how hype he is. I can't wait to see what he does. He's probably, so again, one of the counters to Camilla's curse is him just not being cursed at all. The curse bringer kills himself, the curse goes into Cyrenic. Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't get cursed. I dodged you. I stopped you from killing yourself. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't do it. So there's a counter right here. I love this interaction. This will be very interesting, right? What the hell is that? And so again, I think these two are an alliance. He's gonna be like fodder to the mob, to Onyor. Maybe he'll inspire wrath from the mob and Onyor. These two have an interesting thing that could happen between the curse and his precognition and all, reality warping. And then these two, of course, I think he could destroy Halkenberg's posse. So he'll have to either regain followers, which would be a cool arc for him to navigate that water. He'll have to start from scratch, basically, or work with Karapika or Cyrenic. This is also a possibility, right? So he has flexibility to where he could go. But again, I think that's an interesting way to look at it. If you want to ask me who's going to win, nobody. That's Togashi, man. Nobody's really winning. I think the contest is going to be compromised. The boat's going to sink. That top floor boat is going to go off. And then the rules that go out the window. And it really is a war, just all-out war. Okay? I think that's a possibility. And I'm going to leave it there. I got to go, unfortunately. This is kind of short, but I am so intrigued by these characters. So we'll see what happens. I think of these characters, he's the most likely actually to go. But not before his coins inspire something. Maybe when he dies, the coins go towards the other prince. Maybe each prince gets a coin, and that coin, maybe it ensures that Kakin will be wealthy no matter who wins. There's a thing like that, or that passes on the blessings to the victor, which changes their intended actions. I don't know. I'm in your camp, girl. Let's go. Let's go. Bring death to everybody. I want to see chaos and death. That's the whole point of this arc. Bring it. Bring the darkness. I want darkness. I want chaos. Unleash it. That's why it's my favorite. But my actual favorite, because the writing is so ridiculous with this guy. You guys got to see what happens. So anyway, there it is. I do have to go, but comment your thoughts. Talk about the arc. We are within probably 2 months away from this really coming back for a couple month period, and we can enjoy it again. So very exciting, and I can't wait to react.